Hello and welcome to Select 10. In this video, we will list our picks for the top 10 new Hollywood movies that have been released on popular streaming platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Disney+. The list will include a variety of new films that were released in 2023, with a few films from December 2022 included. Also, let us know how many movies you've seen from this list in the comments. Now let's start the video. Number 10. The Tomorrow Job. It is a sci-fi thriller movie directed by Bruce Wemple. The film follows Lee and his group of thieves who take time travel medication to switch minds with their future versions in order to steal future secrets and pull off the biggest heist. Even knowing the consequences of tampering with time, the crew tries to achieve minimal time impact, but their mission does not go as planned owing to an unforeseen incident that entangles them in a bigger, more complicated conspiracy, forcing them to correct their past errors in order to avert negative outcomes in the present. Instead of the usual time travel, in which characters travel back and forth in time, here they switch minds with their future selves to collect data and return it to the past. I can't say I really enjoyed this movie, but I did find its clever concept to be interesting, and I wish they had done it right. Overall, despite having a great idea, the film fails to deliver it well, so who might like this movie? I would say those who prefer time travel or heist movies. Number 9. Wolf Garden. It is a supernatural horror mystery thriller directed by Wayne David. The story is about William, who has moved to the woods after going through tragically terrible events. He struggles to accept the truth and alternates between the past, present, and visions surrounding the woman he likes. During these situations, he keeps on feeding an unknown beast that is imprisoned in a cellar and soon starts seeing premonitions of a dark entity who encourages him to murder the beast while he learns a shocking truth about the women he claims to love. And it is clearly not a standard werewolf film where we expect lots of monster action. The two positives of this movie are that it is not a typical werewolf story, so you will witness something fresh and original, and the suspense and mystery of the wolf imprisoned in the shed keep you guessing, while the two negatives are the lack of connection between the main leads makes you less invested in the story, and the flashback scenes generate a lot of confusion. In general, if you want to watch a unique werewolf movie, you might enjoy this one. Number 8. Unlocked. It is a 2023 thriller film directed by Kim Tae-joon. The story revolves around Na-mi, who lost her phone, which contains all of her personal information. Fortunately, a man by the name of Jun Yeong finds it and gives it back to her, but not before installing tracking software. After returning the device, he follows Na-mi's daily activities, gathering as much information as possible regarding her movements before approaching her while claiming to be someone else. While Na-mi is relieved to have discovered her phone, soon her normal life completely gets out of control when she realizes she is being stalked by an unidentified individual. In general, it is a story about a serial killer who stalks his prey on their cell phones. Despite the good plot, the presentation feels somewhat messy, but the story is interesting enough to keep you hooked. The fact that this may happen is what makes you anxious the entire time, even though the movie itself isn't really frightening. Number 7. Plane. It is a 2023 action thriller film directed by Jean-François Richet. The film revolves around pilot Brody Torrance, whose aircraft unintentionally gets caught in a severe lightning storm, which causes a critical engine malfunction. With no other option and no way to contact authorities for orders, he must land the plane as quickly as possible to prevent a catastrophic crash. Which he did. He did make a dangerous landing, but on military conflict territory, where the majority of the passengers had been kidnapped by a deadly rebel army. In order to find the passengers, Brody and Louis Gasper, an alleged murderer who was on the plane and being transferred by the FBI, must team up to free the passengers. This is an old-school rescue movie with a simple and straightforward narrative filled with good action and some great visual shots, particularly the plane emergency landing sequence. Although there is nothing new, it could make for good weekend watch, or you could call it a fun action entertainer that captivates you with its adrenaline-fueled tension and thrill. Number 6. Daughter. It is a psychological horror thriller directed by Corey Deschan. The plot centers on a strange family in which the father feels he can pick out his family and goes on to abduct a young woman, claiming she is now her daughter. Meanwhile, after being abducted and incorporated into a strange family as their young daughter, she is now under their control and unable to leave the house. She is forced to deal with the family's twisted plots as she discovers the horrific mysteries that led to their existence and their cryptic past roots. In order to survive, she is forced to assume the role of sister and be a part of the so-called happy family. However, the more she is restricted, the more obvious it becomes that nothing at home appears to be as it should, and the situation worsens. When things get out of hand, she must choose between following her father's instructions or putting her life on the line for her freedom. Although this is a slow-burning cult horror that may not appeal to all viewers, it delivers a pretty solid traditional horror experience that is well worth seeing. Number 5. Emergency Declaration. It is a disaster action film directed by Han Jae-rim. The film revolves around an inquiry about a threat that spreads on the internet, and the authorities learn that a suspect has recently been seen boarding a flight scheduled for the United States. The terrifying situation worsens when one of the plane's passengers dies from an unknown disease, causing chaos in the plane and on the ground. With no idea who is behind the incident, and with fuel running out, the crew and the captain are forced to take exceptional additional measures in order to safeguard the lives of the people on board. In the middle of this, Defense Minister Suk-hee establishes a task team and starts cooperating with investigator In Ho in an effort to safely land the airplane. On the other side, Jae Hyuk, a veteran captain who was also on board the plane with his kid, helps the trapped crew on the plane. The two positives are, this film succeeded in building a terrifyingly dramatic and suspenseful setting that kept you hooked, and a heart-warming climax with a satisfying conclusion. The two drawbacks are that the characters are a little weak and that the movie is too slow at times. Number 4. Linoleum. It is a 2022 sci-fi comedy drama film directed by Colin West. The narrative centers on Cameron Edwin, who leads a very normal life in a tiny Ohio community and runs a science TV show, while he himself has ambitions of becoming an astronaut. Eventually, when a weird space satellite happens to drop from the sky and crash on his property, he makes the decision to achieve his unfulfilled desire by converting the satellite into his dream rocket. During the time he is building the rocket in his garage, other odd incidents occur in his life, such as more objects falling from the sky and strange people invading his life, leading him to rethink the truth about the world. We all had the dream of building rockets at some point throughout our childhood, and this film maturely explores that idea with captivating elements and thoughts that encourage you to consider your personal perspective of what you would like to be once you enter adulthood, and that ambitions may still be achievable. It is a must-see sci-fi film of 2023. Number 3. Sharper. It is a 2023 psychological thriller film directed by Benjamin Caron. The central plot revolves around 4 characters, Tom, Sandra, Max, and Madeline, who become entangled in their own lies while attempting to pull off a large fraud. Despite having a wealthy parent, Tom owns a used bookshop and is unaware that his new girlfriend, Sandra, has a questionable past which is soon going to have an unanticipated impact on him. The main character of the story is Madeline, a clever woman who is quickly becoming one of the city's billionaires. Interestingly, she is Max's mother. Max is famous for organizing and executing clever tricks that frequently result in huge profits. The story explores the power struggles and fraud committed by each of these individuals in their quest for wealth, which ultimately leads to a circle of chaos in which they are all at the center. The film starts off fantastic, promising a thrilling con story, which it achieves in the first half, but the second half becomes a bit predictable. It's like you know the climax minutes before, but have to wait to see it play out. Overall, the film is an unusual, suspenseful, character-focused drama that, let's just say, is mostly enjoyable. Number 2. Devotion. It is a biographical war drama film directed by J.D. Dillard. The narrative unfolds in 1950 and depicts Jesse Brown and Tom Hudner, who enlist in the United States Navy Fighter Wing VF-32, with Brown being given the role of Hudner's wingman. During their journey, they rapidly become close friends and constantly look out for one another when they are in tough situations. Later, when war breaks out in Korea, VF-32, which is stationed on the aircraft carrier USS Late, is assigned the duty of providing air support. For them, this mission is an important one, as their contribution to this operation is crucial to the military effort and highly risky, with the potential to change the course of the conflict. It is based on the real-life tale of 2 exceptional U.S. Navy military pilots during the Korean War, with a focus on their courageous efforts, which earned them the distinction of being the fleet's most recognized companions. Overall, Devotion is a decent portrayal of an incident that few people are aware of. The film's cinematography, depiction of friendship, as well as the historical events of that time period, combine to create a gripping drama, and its aerial combat action is another aspect that contributes to enhancing this film even more. Number 1. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Putting expectations aside, if we review this film on its entertainment value, it does deliver on some fantastic action and a pretty good origin story of a terrifying new villain whose future in the MCU is looking bright and promising. For the people who have not seen this film yet, here is how the story is continued in Wakanda Forever. With the passing of King T'Challa, the Kingdom of Wakanda is under attack from outside forces seeking vibranium, the nation's most valuable and powerful metal. During their search for the metal, a group of people unintentionally invade an underwater territory inhabited by a race known as the Talokan, who retaliate with force and go looking for the people who brought them there. The Talokan hunt eventually leads them into battle against a Wakandian army led by Shuri, who will stop at nothing to defend the Kingdom of Wakanda. Namor was one of the best parts of the film, and you can watch it just for his introduction alone. The film is not perfect, and the main flaw is that it occasionally feels stretched, but overall it is still an enjoyable movie, but only if you go in with minimal expectations. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.